What's up, everyone? Zach Patro of Faceoff Sports Network, your home of NFL draft content. It's Combine Week, which means we need to be looking at these players who will be attending the Combine. Look at the players that need to answer some questions to maybe boost their draft stock, and also just look at the guys that stand out and look at how good these guys perform against one another. But of course, before we get into that, I want you guys to go check out the top 350. We got that updated up on the website, pre-combine rankings for you to keep an eye on. All those combine players are up there. Get to know them. We got some measurables up there as well as their estimated 40 times so you can be prepared for the combine, as well as scouting reports going up. Of course, get to know a deep dive on these players. These are going to be going up daily as we prepare for the 2025 NFL draft. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's take a look at these guys on the offensive side of the ball that we are going to be watching, the questions that they need to answer. And to start this quarterback class, we're going to talk about one quarterback specifically. But overall, this class has a lot of good, but not a lot of great, and a lot of inconsistencies. So there might be a couple surprises a little bit, but one guy we're going to keep an eye on for sure is going to be Tyler Shough, the Louisville quarterback. This is someone I want to see throw with good velocity. That's one of his strengths. I want that proven and that question to be answered again at the combine. He's got a good zip, decent arm strength on film. Again, I just want that confirmed, but that's something I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. And of course, we got him. We always look at the 40 times. We want these quarterbacks to be dual threat quarterbacks. Can Shough run a sub 4.7? I want to see that. And of course, when it comes to the combine, medicals come into play. He needs to confirm some of those medical red flags that he has, dealt with a couple injuries. He's a 25-year-old prospect. I feel like I've been watching him for like the last 3-4 years as an NFL draft prospect. So I definitely have a lot of exposure to Tyler Shough. I think he's a very solid player. Right now, he's around that, early day 3 range, around 4 grade, I think is what I have him at right now. Again, I just want to confirm good zip, good velocity, his arm strength, and I want to see a dual threat ability, run a sub 4.7. I think this guy has some potential. Again, he's an older prospect, so that might hurt him a little bit. But again, if he can clear medical red flags, answer some questions, I think this is someone we could definitely see go early day 3, maybe even later day 2 if there's a team that really needs a quarterback. But Tyler Shough, Louisville quarterback, definitely going to be watching him this week at the Combine. Now, getting into some of these running backs, I do want to talk about one in particular, but there's a lot that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. Bashal Tutton out of Virginia Tech, I hope I said his name right. Rashard Smith at SMU, Taj Brooks, Texas Tech, Damian Martinez, Miami. I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on all those guys. You look at the drafted running backs in the past since 2020, the average is just under 19 total running backs taken. I think we could see a total of 25 drafted this year. You look back, it was a couple years ago, they had 24. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities we see 25 plus drafted in the 2025 NFL draft. But the guy I'm going to be closely looking at the scouting combine this week is going to be Ollie Gordon, the second out of Oklahoma State. What I'm looking for at the combine from him, I want to confirm his speed. I think he shows really good speed on film. I want to see him confirm that speed at plus 230 pounds. I want to see him run a 4.5, somewhere around there. I think that's going to be huge for him, someone of his size, to be able to run a 4.5 or lower. I do want to keep a close eye on those positional drills. I want to see good short area quickness. I want to see explosiveness, which I think is a bit inconsistent on film. When you turn on his film, there's not a great change of direction abilities. I just want to be able to see more twitchiness at the combine. Again, these are all questions. When you look at the combine, it's just answering questions. It's not gaining more questions like, oh crap, but this is, if I see someone who's a good athlete who maybe I just kind of questioned a little bit about his, whether it's his footwork or it's his ability to plant his foot in the ground and get upfield, I want to see those questions answered at the combine. That way I can go back, maybe take a little bit more of a better look and know the numbers and prove it on tape as well as what we saw at the combine. That's what I'm really looking at. We currently are looking at a pre-combine draft grade at around 5 for Ollie Gordon, but I'm going to have a really close eye on him for the combine. If I need to go back and take a look, I will. If some of those questions can't get answered, I still think he's like a mid-day 3. Could be an early day 3 depending on running back needed teams, but overall a very solid player, and I'm definitely going to be watching him very closely at the scouting combine this week. Now, looking at the wide receivers, I don't think this is a dominant wide receiver class as a whole. I think you have a couple very good players at the top, and then some mid players towards the middle of this draft here. But overall, I want to keep an eye on Savion Williams, the TCU wide receiver. He stood out on film. I thought he was very solid. He's got very good size and moves very well for a guy of that size. I like what I saw, and he's starting to garner a little bit more buzz than personally I think is deserved at the moment. For me, I just need to be able to I need him to prove that he's fast and big and has good short area burst and is someone that can run a smooth gauntlet drill. I think he's going to run a very solid 40. I think he's a fast and explosive athlete, which again will be confirmed in testing. But I do want, like I said, I want to see a smooth gauntlet. I want to see good short area burst. I have a round 4 grade on him pre-combine. He's sitting just outside the top 100 on my top 350 big board. But if he has a strong combine, this is someone I could go back, reevaluate, take a really deep look. I have a few games on him where, again, I liked, but I wasn't mind blown, where it's like, oh my gosh. But if this is someone who can move really well at his size and run a good 40, I definitely think we're going to be talking about him as a top 100 guy potentially, because he could be a versatile all-around athlete. Savion Williams, TCU wide receiver, keep a close eye on him this week at the combine. And I think we all know how deep this tight end class is. It's stacked top to bottom. There's, on average, looking back since 2020, 14 tight ends get drafted. I think we could see between 17 and 20 this year. This class is very deep and very loaded with talent. And Orande Gadsen, the Syracuse tight end, is one of those guys. He's got an early day 3 grade on him, some potential late day 2, I think, with his receiving ability. But there are some questions to answer at the combine. All these prospects have questions to answer, but when you look at Orande Gadsen, I want to look at someone who has who looks good in the agility drills. I think he can run a respectable number of routes and gets in and out of his breaks really well. I think he's got some decent speed for his size. Again, he's measurements are going to be big for him too. But if he can run respectable numbers in the agility testing, I think that's going to answer some questions about his overall change of ability concerns. If he runs a sub 4.6 at his size, we could definitely confirm that outstanding size and speed combination. Again, we already know he's a very solid receiver. I'm not going to be surprised if he absolutely blows up the receiving drills and those positioning drills. I think he's going to look phenomenal and someone that, social media takes a liking to. Looked really good at the Shrine Bowl when he was there for the All-Star game. I'm not going to be surprised if he really shows out in those positioning drills. But again, I just want to see really good numbers in the agility testing, and I think we could see a late day 2. But right now we're sitting at an early day 3 pick for Orande Gadsen out of Syracuse. Overall, this offensive line class is phenomenal, especially the tackles. The tackles are really, really good, but I'm going to be looking closely at the interior offensive linemen, specifically the guards and the centers, of course, but I want to talk about one of the guards right now, the right guard out of Georgia, Tate Ratledge, your interior defensive lineman. But I do want to see him test well in athletic and agility testing and prove that's okay. I see, just what I see on film. I'm not super high on him, but, if he looks really good at the combine, again, 2023 looked good. 2024, I thought was, a little bit of the same, a little bit of a step back. So I don't think it's a huge bump, but I do want to see some great testing out of him at the combine. If he does, Tate Ratledge, Georgia, right guard, he could be rising up the rankings again with a strong combine. All right, time to get into some defensive players. And of course, we can't go any further than the defensive line to start because this group is phenomenal. Interior, edge, outside backers, defensive ends, like whatever, anything along that front there's a lot of very good players. But I want to be starting here with Jamaree Caldwell, the Oregon defensive tackle. He's one of those guys in the middle of the group that could rise with a really strong combine. What I'm looking for, I know he has power. I know he has strength. I want to see him prove it with strong athletic and agility testing. Can he show some twitchiness in drills? How does he bend in positional drills? Depending on these answers, he's right in the middle of the pack. He's right around that early to mid day 3 range for me, because I have questions. I have questions that need to be answered. Athletic, twitchiness, bend. These questions need to be answered. I think this is a guy who has, I put in his notes, he has day 2 potential, but I need some answers at the combine. Again, I'm not done evaluated before the combine or after the combine. When I get these questions answered, if they arise and they're like, boom, I'm going back to the film, I'm checking them out. This guy, Jamaree Caldwell, I like him a lot. I just want to see a little bit more twitchiness and a little bit more bend, good footwork out of him. Can he get those hips opened up and can he get going? If those questions get answered, again, I have potential day 2 on this guy. Right now, he's a day 3. early, but I think with a strong combine, this guy could jump up to a day 2 prospect. All right, sticking with the defensive line group again. This group is outstanding. The edge rushers are so deep in this year's class with a variety type of edge rushers. Whether you want an outside backer, you want a 5-tech, you want a defensive end. Do you want a guy that can play inside and outside? Like, what type of guy are you looking for in this draft class? They have it, trust me. Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina is a guy I want to talk about. He's a very versatile type of edge rusher, can play inside, can play outside, hand in the dirt, stand him up in a 2-point. There's so much he can do. I really like Kyle Kennard. He could make his way into the top 50 for me. I got him just outside the top 50, but with a strong combine, I think he could jump inside the top 50. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on those agility numbers. I thought he looked a little bit stiff on film. I thought I wanted to see a little bit more bend out of him, a little bit more hip flexibility. I want to see that lower body twitchiness. He's a bit tight in his lower half on film. A strong 40 is going to be good for him, but not as important to answer those questions about his overall athletic testing numbers and agility testing numbers, those explosive numbers, those bursty numbers. I want to see those out of Kyle Kennard. I think those will answer a lot of questions for me. How well does he do in positional drills? Can he bend and get around the corner? If he looks twitchy, if he looks bendy, those questions are going to be answered about his game. I think he's a very good, sound, overall versatile player. Kyle Kennard, South Carolina edge. Keep an eye on him this week. If he looks good, he's jumping inside my top 50. Looking at some defensive backs in the 2025 NFL draft class that are going to be at the combine. It's very good, very solid group of players. There's some versatility, being able to play various positions, as well as different types of corners in this class. I specifically want to narrow in on the cornerback class right now. You got a lot of press man guys, some nickels, some zone coverage guys. There's a lot of versatility in this corner group, which I like a lot. And Kansas State, Jacob Parrish is one of those strong press man guys. I love that out of corners who can play some press man. He's very technically refined. But what I'm going to be looking at the combine, one of the questions that popped up on his film for me, was his overall speed. Will he be able to match the NFL wide receiver's speed? He's got good speed, not great speed. It's something that he could definitely work on. Meaning his 40 time is going to be huge. If he can run a sub 4.5, I haven't projected around a 4.52, 4.55. If he can run a sub 4.5, that's going to be huge. If it's outside the 4.5, it's not going to be game breaking. It's not going to be something that's going to totally diminish his draft stock. I just want to see him run a faster 40 than a 4.5. Because if he can run faster than a 4.5, he's going to be able to match a lot of the speedy wide receivers in the NFL. It's going to answer that question I have of him, which is key when you're looking at the combine. That's key. Answer these questions, and we could see a bump in draft stock, or we could see it get lowered in the draft stock. It is what it is. But it's all about answering questions and not posing new questions, making people like me go back to the film and be like, okay, this is confirmed. These numbers can confirm it. He's fast. He's speedy. He's twitchy. He can, match the speed of the wide receivers. That's going to be very, very key. I want Parrish to look good in positional drills as well. Can he open up his hips? Can he flip and turn? And how's his footwork? Again, he's a very technically refined corner. I like him a lot. Jacob Parrish, Kansas State corner. Going to have a very close eye on you this week. All right, sticking with the defensive backs, but I want to specifically talk about the safety position, which I think is another very deep position group this year. There's a lot of talent in a variety of positions, which gives teams plenty of options at the third level for their defense. Whether you need a nickel guy, whether you need a thumper, whether it's strong safety, free safety with a range, someone that can pop inside in the box, whatever you need. There's a lot of different type of safeties in this class, which I like. This one I want to talk about here is Xavier Watts, the Notre Dame safety. He's a former wide receiver. I think teams are going to like this guy a lot. Tremendous ball skills, has a knack for finding the ball. He's someone that he understands the receiver position and what they're trying to do on offense, and you see that in Xavier Watts, which I like a lot. What I'm going to be looking for at the combine, this is a guy I want to see who has loose hips and better twitch than I thought I saw on film. I want to see him be able to turn his hips, flip, turn and open up, and get going and show that speed, because I think he does have some speed to him. He's well inside the day 2 conversation for me. I think he's not getting out of the third round. But if we can answer some of those questions about his stiffness, he's going to be someone that teams are going to love on their defense. I think you can deploy him in various ways, whether you need him to sit over the top, play some cover 2, you need to play a deep third, or someone that could just turn and run with someone. I think he does a lot of things very, very well. Xavier Watts, former wide receiver, but I like him at free safety. Watch out for him this week at the combine. Sticking with the safeties, the guy I really want to talk about because he's one of my favorite players. I'm a lot higher than the consensus on Andrew Makuba, the Texas safety. Again, lots of different type of safeties in this class, rangy free safeties to thumping strong safeties, nickel coverage guys, you name it. There's plenty of talent at the safety position in the 2025 NFL draft. But one of my guys, again, he's one of my guys. I like this guy a lot. He's inside my top 50. Texas, I like calling him the Texas Longhorn thumper. I don't know why, but Andrew Makuba, he's a big hitter, and obviously we're not going to see him thumping anyone at the combine, which it's not going to happen. But it'd be fun to see him hit some people. But anyway, I want to see some quality testing numbers out of him. I think he is a very good athlete. I think he's someone that can flip, turn, and run. I think he can get downhill very quick. I think he's got good burst, speed. That's all on film. I want to have I don't want to say that they're questions, but I want to confirm what I'm seeing on film is good speed and good twitchiness and a good athlete and someone that can get downhill really quick. So of course I want to see a good 40. I want to see a good 3-cone. I want to see a good short shuttle. There's a lot I want to see out of him that just to confirm my take, because I'm so much higher on him than most. Does he look explosive in drills? How's his footwork? Can he open up his hips and move? Again, he looks athletic on film. If that is confirmed at the combine, lock him in for a top 50 grade for me. I like this guy a lot. Andrew Makuba, Texas safety. All right, and there you have it, the guys that I will be watching for the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine, for the 2025 NFL Draft. Again, these are all questions I want to answer when I'm watching these guys on film, and we can confirm or deny that with the Scouting Combine. That's what it's there for. It's not there to boost anyone's draft stock too high or bring them too low. These are all just to answer some questions and bring you back to the film if you missed something. So that's what we're going to use the Scouting Combine for. These are the guys I'm going to be watching. Again, if you want to check out my top 350, the link is below. You can follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Link is below in the description. Make sure you check those out. Again, we're going to be having more scouting reports go out on the website on Faceoff Sports Network, and we'll be updating the top 350 after the combine, and we'll keep that going through pro days. So make sure you check those out and stay tuned, because we'll be having more videos just like this, and we'll catch you in the next one.